Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the National Guard Products 603A. This is a piece of weather seal, and this can be used in different applications. I'm pretty convinced that this will be used primarily as jamb and header gasketing. Its angle is, well, first of all, it's conducive to that application. But I would think potentially conducive, but maybe potentially, not exactly ideal for a sweep application. I would think for a threshold, if you had an application where you needed the seal to come up against and lay flat in this sort of orientation, it might work really well, because what you don't want to do is have the door open and curl back under like this. That will certainly fatigue the seal. So if you had an application where you had a possibility to gracefully have that seal slide up on top of your sill or your threshold, it would be fairly ideal in that case. Lots of surface area in order to seal the bottom of that out. But as a jamb application is where it's going to be very well suited. So here is the frame, right where my hand is, where this is flat. This is the flat portion that I'm tipping this way. And the point is that the door is going to make contact with the bristle itself like this, providing the same sort of concept. Now, this angle bristle and this size of bristle might be pretty ideal for an overhead door as well, and even a door that may have a corrugated surface or a textured surface, which is a substantial hallmark of the seal insert. Okay? If you study what I'm doing with my fingers, if my fingers represent an irregular floor surface, see how well the seal just fills in all the way around the contours of the irregular floor surface, so to speak. If you have a highly pitted concrete sill, if you have maybe a fluted threshold, if you have a corrugated overhead door, this bristle would do very well in those applications. Bristle is also known to be very resistant to insects. It's been said to me, or I've read, that they don't like to land on this material and won't stay on there at all. So it's effective in that regard. This nylon brush that's going to be here is, I would describe it as both durable and stiff, yet still supple, to not present a substantial amount of an obstacle to a door closing device, like a closer, spring hinges from closing the door, not presenting a substantial additional amount of friction or obstacle or closing force needed to get the door closed, because you're really not dragging this over something. You're going to be making graceful or elegant contact with it, would be more of my guess of where you're going to use this. Now, gray nylon brush, I would be quite sure, and even though it doesn't say it, I would think that this nylon has UV inhibitors in it. I would be surprised if it didn't, quite frankly. And nylon's good in that regard in terms of sealing exterior doors. There is an image down below this video that shows the important dimensional properties. You can see that it's 1 inch bristle length, and that's what that's coming out to. And that you have a 7/8 of an inch aluminum holder dimension, even though I'm coming up with something closer to 3/4 inch. So I'd say we're a bit short on 7/8. This happens to be a 42-inch length. Client ordered 42-inch pieces for whatever they're doing. Available in lots of lengths, everything from 2 foot to 8 foot, generally in 6-inch increments. You can order really any size you want, probably up to about 16.5 feet would be my guess. Be mindful, as it gets longer than 3 foot, the cost to ship becomes increasingly more expensive because of the dimensional properties. It's not heavy, but they treat it as an exceptionally heavy item, even though it's not, because of that exceptional length. If you order 8-foot pieces, you can expect that to be costly to ship. So keep the pieces short whenever you can. This will be available in a DKB, dark bronze finish as well. Let's switch to the screen view and take a closer look at some supporting documentation. Okay, so here we are. Dimensional properties of our material can be seen. 603A, here are the dimensional properties. And if you recall, we were coming up to closer to 3/4 inch here, but we definitely have 1 inch here. Okay, now, extended description information down below, most of which we've somewhat gone over. Exceptional temperature range, -70 to 160 degree Fahrenheit. You know, I might be looking at polyurethane or silicone for extreme temperature ranges. I think nylon might get a little iced over and become otherwise solid when all the moisture on it freezes. Rated for ULB and ULC installations up to 3 hour. Product brochure is here. This is going to show you all of the sister products to the 603 item, meaning similar ideas, different sizes. Clear anodized aluminum, dark bronze anodized aluminum, different bristle lengths. Okay. If you're going with perimeter gasketing, I would certainly go with a much shorter bristle length. Would be my my preference. Maybe a holder like this, a little bit smaller in the width. If you're doing very large overhead doors, bristle on this scale would be much more appropriate. If you're doing an aircraft hangar door, you know, the 2.5, 4 inch would be much more appropriate in terms of lengths. Not effective against water penetration. That's certainly true. Closed cell neoprene would be ideal for water repelling. Okay, retains insecticides well. Retains insecticides well. I would probably think that ought to say repels insects well, would be my guess. Anyway, installation. This will be a typical sort of document that says measure, cut to length, attach. You might try to get a little exotic and miter the material. You can miter the aluminum so that it meets up nicely at the header, a little bit better potentially. You know, when you can do that, if you're going to miter the material, order it a little bit longer, I would imagine, would be very appropriate. Now, below this video here, that's a link to the manufacturer's page right here. And before we hop over to that, does include screws. What I'm saying is it does include screws, 6 by 3/4 screws. They state stainless steel. My magnet says that they're not. And I wouldn't think these are stainless. Wouldn't see a reason that they would need to be stainless steel. Now that link below this video here to the manufacturer's page, as that loads, you can review not only all of the National Guard products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog, as well as a link to their flood shield catalog. The category of flood shields is an ever-growing category. There's also a link to the A117.1 document. That's just simply a guide for usable and accessible buildings as defined by the federal government. Let's wrap up this video on camera. Now, in conclusion, a very nice quality item from National Guard. A couple of things. When you go to cut this, be mindful there are 3 components that are involved here. And this will need to be a bit coaxed out more than I'm willing to tug on this. But you have aluminum, you have nylon, but then you have steel. And that steel holder, you don't want to run your 80-tooth, 9-inch carbide tipped miter box saw through. So you want to relieve this area here that's marginally crimped to prevent that from sliding. Pull that out and cut it maybe with end cutters separately, then trim the aluminum separately. Or simply indicate to us at the time of order that you would like the bristle to be shipped separately, and we'll have them not force that in there since you're already going to probably trim it. So I would recommend that as well. The name National Guard is utterly synonymous with weather stripping and all forms of gasketing. That link to the manufacturer's page will give you an overview. Very nice quality product, very nice quality people over at National Guard. Any questions on the 603A gasketing, door sweep, however you're using it, or any other National Guard product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. If you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please click subscribe as well, and even share the video with someone that you know. And if you have any questions for a future video, please send them our way and we will make every attempt to oblige. And thank you very much.